We're turning now to the very difficult issue of suicide, with the story of one man determined to help other people after his son took his own life.
Frank Ritchie's son Alan died 2 years ago after years of depression and anxiety. His father is now working with a variety of support groups to try to prevent other families experiencing a similar tragedy. Hannah McNulty reports.
The Samiling Tibetan Monastery is a special place for Frank Ritchie. He spent a lot of time here over the past 20 years, and so did his son Alan. It's where a tree is planted in memory of the 31-year-old who took his own life in 2015. And Frank is determined his death will help him make a difference.
You know, my options were to hit the bottle, to lie under a duvet, to follow Alan, or to try to reduce what really is 100% of a waste to 99% of a waste.
Alan suffered from anxiety and depression for many years, and in the 2 years since his death, Frank has become involved with various mental health and suicide charities, both locally and nationally. Latest figures show that although there's been a decrease in the number of suicides in the Scottish borders, down to 12 from 18, there's been an increase in Dumfries and Galloway, up to 20 from 14. Frank believes there should be more money available, but doesn't believe there's any one solution.
I think funding is just one piece of the jigsaw. I think there are other pieces like the family and friends wanting to engage in dialogue with the person who is in distress and to open up, for the person to open up, to allow them to seek help, the help that they need. There are many, many other different forms of therapies, and like most things with the human beings, some medications don't work, you'll have a reaction, some therapies don't work, but you keep seeking the ones that you believe will work for you and will help you.
For Alan, Samiling offered him support in terms of friendship and also different activities like meditation, which Frank said gave him great support, for which he's grateful.
He very much threw himself into the community, and he was part of the community, and he was loved by the community and the people in the community, and he loved them as well, and he helped them and they helped him.
It's a place where he can remember his son, but also where he finds the strength to channel his grief into something positive. Hannah McNulty, ITV News, Eskdalemuir.
And we're joined in the studio now by John Brown of the Cumbria branch of the support group Survivors of Bereavement by Suicide. Good evening, John.
Good evening.
You know Frank?
Yes.
Through your support groups, and the group that you founded was born out of your own personal experience of this type of tragedy. Hearing Frank tell his story there, how important is it that we all speak about this?
I think it's absolutely crucial. I think the difficulty we have is that, you know, society, people are scared of the idea of suicide and scared. They're scared of what to say. They're worried they'll say the wrong thing. And, you know, it's important that we enable and encourage people to feel confident enough, you know, to talk about it and not be afraid of the word and the idea, and awful as suicide is.
You say there people are often afraid to broach the subject, even though they might want to feel that they can be of help and support. Can you give us an idea of what's the right and the wrong thing? Is there a right or wrong thing to say or do?
I think the crucial thing is when somebody's, you know, been bereaved by suicide, is not to walk away. You know, not to change aisles in the supermarket, not to cross the road because you're worried about saying the wrong thing. Essentially, the key thing really is listening. You know, a touch, just that kind of reassurance that, you know, you want to take, you know, you care, and that you want to show that you care and how distressed you are. Is really the way forward. I mean, the one thing about loss by, you know, through suicide is that there are no, at the end of the day, there are no words that actually are going to help.
No.
No.
It's much more about just being alongside the person. I think is the
And
best way I
that
can say it.
guidance that you give there was almost the same as if you were worried about somebody for fear that they might be contemplating suicide. It's the same sort of thing, isn't it, to talk and to listen?
Absolutely, and certainly within Eden District, we've got a group together to encourage the community to take this on board. You know, everyone to think about what part they can play, and give them the kind of confidence to just say to somebody, "Are you okay?"
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, Alan, Frank's son, Alan, you know, when he died, you know, you have to wonder whether if somebody had seen him, you know, maybe just said, "Are you okay?" or drawn to somebody else's attention the fact that, you know, he was perhaps looking distressed or agitated.
Supportive groups like yours is absolutely vital. Where generally can people go for help when they're in this kind of situation, a very unique kind of loss situation?
I think, you know, on the medical side, obviously the GP and that side of things, but in a way I'd like to kind of move away more to the social side. And I think certainly our group, SOBS, people describe when they've plucked up the courage to contact us, they describe it as being rather like having a kind of life belt on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are people there, all of whom have been bereaved by suicide. Nobody's ever going to say, "It's time you moved on," or "You need to start getting over it," or anything like that, which following a normal bereavement, you know, might be appropriate.
Mm-hmm. And of course the practical support that you can offer as well. John, thank you so much for coming in and for telling us more about it. We will offer more advice thanks to your support group on our website. The link, of course, as you know, is itv.com/border if you would care to look there for any resources.